Welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Danette, and today I'm sitting down with fellow comedian and native New Yorker Lawrence DeLoach. Lawrence loves kombucha. If you follow him on Instagram, you'll be able to see that for yourself. And he was also the winner of Caroline's Comedy Madness in 2019. Lawrence, welcome.
Danette, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
I am so happy to see your face.
Same. I'm happy to see your face as well. Seriously, it's been a while.
It's thank God for Instagram because I do get I do get to see you every now and then, but this feels a little bit more personal.
Definitely, yes, it does. I feel it's great. It's like there's so many comics and so many people that you just haven't seen in almost a year at this point. So yeah, yes.
So I started this blog. I want to say call it my it's technically called No Segues because I have a habit of jumping from topic to topic
Okay.
without any kind of lead. But I started this because I wanted people to feel safe. I wanted people to feel like to get some tips on how to like take care of themselves. Like self-care is like a really big issue for me.
Okay.
I believe in it. So I'm going to ask you, what are some things you're doing to take care of yourself during this time?
Oh, it's a lot of things from just working out, almost every day. Definitely trying to eat, really healthy because, as you know, being a stand-up comic, you're out late, you're eating crazy, but like with everything that's going on now, you're kind of monitoring what you're eating. You're changing what you eat. I definitely try to do a lot of thinking and meditating too, because that's like big for me. Kombucha, obviously, you talked about that earlier. I try to drink one or two kombuchas a day just to try to stay zen, and that's really those are the main things. Get my fruits and veggies in,
Can
and
you
that's
tell me more about your kombucha love? Like, where did that start?
it started actually. It started from my girlfriend. I was hungover all the time. She was like, try this out. And I tried it out and it was love. It was like really good. And then it kind of just took on its own life. Like I just started reviewing different kombucha brands and now like I'll go to Whole Foods, I'll go to different stores and everyone's like, oh, that's the kombucha guy. And because they just know me as that guy,
Yeah. I
and
think there was a couple of brands that you recommended and I was like, "Oh, I got to try this out." Yeah.
Nah, you know what? It's so funny because like a lot of the times now, my boys they're like this. They're the same way. They're like, Lawrence, what's a good kombucha brand or what's good? And then they send me pictures and things, and I'm like, yo, try this one out, yo. I'll give it like 5 yoga mats, and then they start laughing, and they try it out, and then they're in love with it. So it's definitely taken on its own life. Like I get like different kombucha brands. They give me free stuff. They're giving, they're like, we want you to review this. We want you to, I get merchandise. So it's kind of taking on its own life for real.
That's good. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's big. It's like I said, it's one of those things that you're like, yo, I drank this, and it's like it's something that I'll be honest with you, as like a black dude, a lot of my friends they're like, yo, what is this? And I'm like, yo, I'm putting you on to something. Just try it, you'll love it. And it's like I said, it's definitely taking on a life of its own.
You mentioned yoga. Do you practice yoga?
I've tried it like once, and it's
Once?
tough. Yeah, I tried it once, and I was like, ugh. Then that like I'm down to try anything, and I would actually do more yoga, but it is tough to me. Like there's certain, especially like my friend, she was trying to get me to do like hot yoga and stuff like that, and I'm like,
Oh, that's next level.
that's too
That's
much for
next
me.
level. You should definitely just stay with the yoga for like a couple of months before you get into hot yoga because it's made people cry.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like I've known like so many people that have done yoga and then they done hot yoga and they're like, yo, it's a different like I guess muscle in your body like a lot like me personally like I'm a basketball guy so I can play basketball for hours, but when you get me in certain positions and certain exercises, it's tough. And yoga is one of those things that I'm like it's hard for me to do.
Do you have any interest in like getting to do yoga or you're just like, nah, I'm good?
You know what? Like I said to you, I'm down to like try anything. Like I don't have a problem with it, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't know if that's something I want to do like I don't know if I could do that every day. Like I see some back in the days when people were outside, everyone was out there with their yoga mats and going to classes and stuff like that. I don't know if I got that in me, Danette.
I
Like
got it. Yeah. It's fair. I mean, if you're meditating, that seems like part of when I started yoga, what I noticed was that it was after my first yoga class, it was weird. First of all, it's weird because there's people making kind of like weird noises with their bodies, and it's just, and then you're in weird positions.
Yep.
So like once the judgment kind of shushes,
Uh-huh.
um, and you're asked to do certain poses, like I just felt so connected to my body. Like I didn't even know my elbow could feel that way. And
I get it.
afterwards I felt more at peace in my mind, and I was like, what's this about? And
Uh-huh.
I think it's part of the meditation. Like when you're doing yoga, you're combining your mind and your body together, and
Yep.
there's like a high, which feels yummy. You said you meditated, so I was like, oh, then you must do yoga, but that I guess is not always the
Nah, like
case.
I meditate, like I'll meditate in on a couch, and I'll just sit and I'll just like kind of just like take it all in. It's like that. That's my meditation. But like for me to do yoga, I can't. Like there's certain. I took a friend of mine. She has like she does like a spin class, but it's also like one of those high intensity aerobics classes, and it's so funny. I used to do that, and it was that's where I like they were like, yo, you should do yoga. And like I told you before, like basketball, I'm a sports guy. So basketball, if you play football, like you want me to do that, I can do that for hours. I can hoop and do that. But when you start asking me to get into certain positions, you start asking me to do certain things, like I'm 6'1", like I can't, my body can't do it.
Aren't some like NBA players known to do yoga?
Some definitely do. Like I'm sure like a LeBron James is in the yoga.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sure he's into everything.
I just got into basketball. I just got into it. I'm a little embarrassed to say so, but I am like a big Kevin Durant fan. Like I love him,
Okay.
and I started following Steph Curry.
Okay.
Um, I'm gonna ask you a question. If you had to pick a sneaker line from any NBA player, who would it be? And it can't be Michael Jordan.
It can't be Michael Jordan. Okay. If I can pick anyone retired
I pref-
athletes or prefer right now.
right now that they have a sneaker line that's out, and they're like, "Yo, Lawrence, we're gonna hook you up." Like, who would you?
Okay, I'll say this. Kyrie Irving.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And the reason why is because actually, playing indoors, there's a lot of sneakers that I've tested out, and you play on, you want good support. Every Kyrie sneaker that I've played in, I've loved, like the Danette, like super comfortable.
You're like making jump hoops.
Yeah, like you feel like you're out there and you're like, all right, cool, I can do what I can do. I've played. I'll tell you this. I've played in LeBron sneakers. And they're so heavy because they're designed for the player himself. Like
Right.
so a guy like LeBron, he's so big and he's like he's physical, so his sneakers are clunky and big and heavy. And a guy like Kyrie, his sneakers just they fit the
Light.
way I play. Yeah, they're light. They fit the way I play. So yeah, I would take Kyrie Irving.
Nice, nice. That was funny. I didn't think about that. That LeBron James is so big that his sneakers need to support all that muscle.
Yeah, that's what you'll find in a lot of athletes. So like Kevin Durant, like his sneakers they're kind of light because the way he plays. And Kobe Bryant, rest in peace, when he was here, like his sneakers design, they were engineered for the way he played and what he liked. So you just kind of, as a basketball player, as a person who plays, you just have to find what you like and just run with it.
So you play are you still playing basketball out?
Um, you know what? Right now it's hard to really like get yourself motivated when it's 30 degrees to go
Oh,
play
true. Yeah.
basketball.
Yeah.
But when in the summertime, I was working out a little bit. I was getting, I was shooting around. It's you really don't want to play with people, obviously, because you don't know
You
who.
don't want them sneezing on you.
There you go. But I did get a couple games and I did feel a little awkward afterwards.
Oh, word?
Like, yeah, like I was, a friend of mine, he had some friends that play, and they were like, they did, it was like a close, tight knit group of guys. So like, 10, 15 guys, and we would just like play for like 3 hours in a park. And then, after a while, I was like, damn, this doesn't feel right. And then we just like kind of just everyone just fell off. But once again, it got cold. So
It didn't feel right because everybody was still wearing a mask, or because you guys didn't really want to touch up on each other?
so it didn't feel right because at the time this was around October, so it was still kind of warm. Guys weren't wearing masks. So guys are outside, and a lot of people use the excuses like, oh, we're outside, so we can play basketball. But you just don't, because you don't know, what you do, but I don't know what the other guys are doing out there. So it was after a while, then it just felt like I was like, I don't want to do this shit anymore.
I don't want to die for this game.
Yeah, it's like if I'm gonna go out, I don't want to go out playing like pickup basketball outside.
Yeah,
Not my thing.
you can wait.
I could totally, I can, you know what? And it's funny because I like a lot of my friends, everyone's itching to play basketball again. Everyone. They're all
Yeah.
itching to play,
I'm itching to play, and I just started to learn about the game.
that's how great this game is. And everyone is itching to play. Everyone wants to go back out, and it's like, we'll play basketball again. Just
In
try
the
to
future.
stay in shape as much as you can, because obviously that basketball is one of the best like forms of cardio. So
How did you know did you instinctually, was it by nature that you were like, I need to stay fit and eat well and take care of myself? Or did that come with like a bad experience of you gaining weight, or you like going through depression when you're like, I need to change my diet? Like, did you, because for me, I instinctually knew to like build up my immune system, and I started to work out because I was thinking, if God forbid there's like a Hunger Games situation, I want to be able to take people out.
no, I'll say this. I decided to kind of get be more motivated because I didn't know how long we would be inside, and it started out as like you're thinking maybe it's a month or two, but it's like, what, I can work out, I can do all that. It wasn't like a health or a depression thing. I think it just, Danette, as time went on, it was like, wow, like you're noticing, you're down a pant size, or like, and that you have more energy. And as a comic, a lot of times you're out late, you're out midnight, 1, 2 a.m. And it's like you may eat a meal at midnight and then go to sleep at 3:30. And it's like, whoa, like, do you understand? Like, Danette, like if you're eating at midnight and then you're going to sleep an hour or two later, like that food is like, it's
Yeah.
sitting inside of you. And it's like a lot of my friends who aren't comics, they're like, Lawrence, my last meal is at 6 p.m. I eat dinner at 6 p.m. I'm like, dude, I ate a hamburger and fries at 1 a.m. And I think being home and everything, I think you realize that's like, I can kind of have a normal schedule. I don't have to eat. I can monitor what I put in my body. So it,
Yeah.
it, it went like that.
You were like, oh, look at this. It's like 10 o'clock. I can go to bed now. I don't have to
I
do a show.
that's what it is. And like I think, I can speak from personal experience. I think you and I, we had did a show, I think in like February of 2020, right? Like a couple weeks before everything really happened. And I remember after the show, we did it in a market in Brooklyn, and
Mm.
there's food and there was beer, and I remember afterwards it's like 9:30, and I'm like, damn, Lawrence, you got to get something to eat, and I just got some wings and fries, and I'm like, that's a lot.
It's a crazy lifestyle. Yeah. I noticed that I started doing Zoom shows, and sometimes the Zoom shows would be in California. So my time to perform would be like at 10 or 11 o'clock at night. And I
Hmm.
noticed that after that show was over, I was like filled with energy. And
Hmm.
then it's like, I would find myself eating at 1 o'clock and then going to bed at 2. And I was like, oh my God, like,
Yeah.
it's so funny that it's so easy to pick up those bad habits again just because you're doing stand up at like, 11 or 12.
Well, I will also say this as well, that uh, during the summer and the fall, when I was doing shows like outside in Manhattan and Brooklyn and Queens, afterwards, that feeling did come back at times. That whole, like you said, that whole adrenaline, like you just got off stage
The
and
energy.
it's like, oh man, maybe I should have something. I think you have to, like, it's a mind control thing, because you got to say, listen, all right, yeah, I did this, but let's not, let's kind of continue on what you're doing, like how you're, how you're,
Keep your discipline.
yeah, you got to stay disciplined. I think that's really key.
Can you give us like 2, 3 tips on how to stay disciplined? Is that even possible? Like, I'm just learning about the word.
I'm still like, I still have my moments too. Like, I don't know. I think discipline is, it's hard to fully like say, yeah, you should, if you eat this, you eat this. Cause like, no, I mean, I still mess up, all the time. But what I realize is a lot of the times I try to keep like meals like really simple, like a vegetable and a protein, like, and that's it. Whereas a lot of times, like, I would, it's like, all right, so I got to have some type of carb. And it's like, oh, my portions are crazy. And then afterwards, it's like, yeah, I want something sweet too. And it's like, if you can kind of stay on some type of discipline, like, and drink a lot of water, like that's the key to me.
I take a peep at my water. Um, Yeah, so the discipline thing is like that ritual. So it's like, so a discipline would be like every morning I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna say like mantras, or I'm gonna say a prayer before I get out of bed or before I log on to Twitter or Instagram. So if I do that every day, that's technically like a discipline, because I'm not allowing my temptation to look at Twitter or Facebook before I get out of bed. Like, I'm making sure that I'm saying a prayer or that I'm saying a mantra. So that's
Hmm.
like one, right? Like that's an example
Of
um
course.
yeah. And then I guess, yeah, I think if you do things repeatedly over and over, that's considered like discipline.
Yeah, I think that's key too. Like waking up and then not just looking at your phone, not checking social media, because like you can get caught up in a hole. It's like, if you get up, try to do something. Because I think, to me, like, at least me personally, I feel like the best time for me to like work out or do something is when I wake up, because I have like the most energy. Like, I'm not weighed down from whatever I ate for breakfast. So it's kind of like, you get into like certain routines, and like right now, because my friends, they all say the same thing. They're like, yo, we're never going to have this much like free time and time to kind of really evaluate your life. Like, I grew out my hair, like I got a nose ring. Like, this is all stuff that, like, that things, that, if there was no pandemic, I don't think any of this would have happened. So
So are you feeling good about your hair and your nose ring?
I feel wonderful about it. It's like, it's a totally different Lawrence. Like, it's like,
It's the real Lawrence.
it's the real Lawrence. Yeah, there you go.
That's awesome.
I never, I would have never done this, but it's, it's like you said, you really evaluate, you try to come out of things different than before.
Yeah, and also it also seems like it's a positive mindset. Like you're keeping, like it seems like to acknowledge that this is a time for you to do things you couldn't have done otherwise. That's
Mm,
a form of like gratitude. Like yeah, you're being thankful for what you do have, instead of saying,
hmm.
"Oh, we're all dying," or "I just lost a year of my life."
Nah, not at all. You can't. Why be like negative? Because, at the end of the day, like you said, that like all that bad energy, then that is like, that really mess you up. You gotta like be as positive. To me, like, that's just in life in general. You gotta be super positive. I feel that way.
Speaking of positive, how long have you been doing stand up?
Positively, positively, like, eh, if we, I'll say this will be my 10th year uh doing stand up, but obviously I try not to count last year, but you still have to count it. So
Yeah,
June, J- June will be 10 years.
awesome.
Mhm.
That's amazing. It's funny, so you've been doing stand-up for 10 years. What are 3 things that you love about this industry, and what are 3 things that you could do without?
Um, three things I love about this industry.
You gotta dig deep.
I get that's on. I guess this is like the whole meditation and yoga stuff coming out right now. What do I what I love about the industry, what I love about stand up comedy is the fact that you create you you know every you can feel very fulfilled after when you get off stage. Like you could feel like you've done something. I guess that would be one of the things. The second thing I love about the industry,
Or comedy, like
or
not
no, it's
yeah, like
yeah, comedy and as well. I guess the second thing I love about comedy is like the the camaraderie. I get to see other comics that like I truly believe are just hilarious, and I think that pushes me to be even a better comic. And the third thing I think I love about um, comedy is this opportunities, like that you wouldn't that you normally may not you may not have. Like you never know. Like you can get on stage and then someone sees you, and then you're doing this show and you're doing another show, and the pay and all that stuff. So I
that
think
is a
those
good feeling.
it's a great
That is
feeling. That's a great feeling.
That's a really cool, yeah. That's happened to me before. When I first started, I would hear people say that they wouldn't turn down opportunities. Like even if it was like a basement show with like three people there, they would still like go after it the way, pretending that there was more people there. Because
Hmm.
there's been some instances where those three people, one of them was like a producer for
Hmm.
like a network, or there was somebody that was a manager. So they were
Hmm.
like, never take any show for granted because anything is possible. And it's come true. Like I've had shows where people are like, "You're amazing, do my show," and I'm like, "Thank
Hmm.
you."
That's that feeling, like you said, you get off stage and then someone reaches out, and you're like, all right, this is, you feel like you're on the right path.
Yeah. And what are three things that you could do without? Like if you could just wave a magic wand, you wouldn't have to deal with it at all.
I think the clickiness of
Oh,
is, a lot of, sometimes there's a lot of clicks in this. There's, that's one thing I don't like. What else don't I really I don't like. I mean, I feel like, obviously it should be if you're funny and you're talented, then things happen. But there's so many different games involved in this internet that kind of it can become a little annoying.
I'm only smiling because I feel like that happens in Hollywood too. Like you could be a really great actress or actor, but
Uh-huh.
because someone else has, a relative in the industry, or just because that person just seems to be more popular, it's like, fuck it, like throw them up on this, give them this opportunity. I
Of
think it
course.
happens there too.
Of course it happened. It happens so much. So, like, like I think that those things, it's entertainment. So it's always, the most talented always don't succeed. But you just hope that your talent outshines the political games. And I think the third thing that I would say, I'm trying to think, clickiness. That's one. Then the politics, and I would say I could say backstabbing, but I don't know if that's the best way to put it. But I can say that would probably be like the third thing.
And
Like,
then how does that look, like the backstabbing?
oh, there's you could there's people, everyone feels like your success is should be theirs.
Oh,
So
the
people
envy.
are, yeah, the envy, so like that's the net. That's how it always is. It's always, someone feels like, well, if you got something, then that should have been mine. And it's like, listen, what's yours is meant for you, and what's meant for me is meant for me, and we can
Amen.
go from there. So,
Yeah, that's funny because when I first started stand up, I didn't realize that. I thought it was just like, okay, well, just be funny, like share your stories, be funny, and
mm,
like learn how to keep track of your time. Like
mm,
if you're doing a 10-minute set, don't do 15. Like
mm,
those are like the technical skills. I wasn't prepared for like the social skills, like the clickiness or the,
mm,
like I remember I would do stand up and I would get happy when I would see like a familiar face. And
mm,
sometimes I would get like a cold shoulder. And I realized after some time that these people thought I was ass kissing, or they thought I wanted something from them. And it was like, I don't want nothing from you. I'm just happy that we're in this room together.
Together.
And then kind of I had to realize that that was their issue, that just because they thought I was an ass kisser, or because they thought I wanted something from them, wasn't something that I needed to deal with. It was just like, well, that's not my intention, but you're thinking that. And so then it was kind of like, how do I manage that relationship? Because now, like, so I didn't realize that that's part of this industry too. It's just like learning how to deal with haters, because that can get into your head and like mess up your style, right?
Oh, totally can. And that's why I said, like, you really sometimes a lot of times, people are like, oh, this is my friend, this is my friend. And it's like, you don't have 70 friends in comedy. Like, you don't. You have coworkers, people that you're acquaintances with, people that you respect what they do. But you have to realize that, a lot of the times, like I said, what you're saying and what you said earlier it's so true to me. It's like, your personality is like, you're nice and you're happy to see someone. But then there's so many other comics who are straight up like, they're using that to get ahead. Like, they're using that, you really don't know who's who. But I
Right.
think in the long run, I think a lot of people find out who's genuine and who's not.
Right. Yes. So it takes time.
It totally does. Like, when you've been doing stand up for, a few years, like, the comics that are not genuine, and the comics that are like, they're really a good
Solid.
person. Yeah, they're a solid person. And
What are some, because you've been in this a little bit longer, what are some tips for dealing with someone that you know is not on the up and up? Like, what's a smooth way to deal with someone that you know is just like, they're full of shit?
I mean, never get comfortable around them. Like, never give them any information that they can use. Because, a lot of comics, a lot of us, we talk shit about, you talk shit about a comic. Maybe you're like, oh, this guy is horrible. But I think a lot of times comics get too comfortable with certain comics. And if you say you're like, say you're you're talking about one comic to someone that you think is your friend, and they're trying to use that against you, against you or to the other comic to make them look a certain way. I think, you just have to kind of be really careful what you say around people. That's, to me, the main thing.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I feel like you can apply that in business too. Like in a corporate environment, it's like you don't want to be talking about your coworkers, because then they could be friends with someone else that's higher up. And yeah, that makes
And
sense.
every aspect in comedy can be applied. Like, the social aspect of it, to me, can be applied in some type of, and like you said, whether it's like, work, or there's certain aspects that feel like high school. There's a lot of different, things that you can apply to stand
Mhm.
up.
So I was recently on a date,
Okay.
and they asked me, who were you in high school? Like, who were you? And I was like, that's such a great question. So I'm going to ask you, who were you in high school? Like, were you the jock? Were you the funny guy? Were you the quiet guy?
Honestly, I was a little bit of everything. And when I say that, I like, I can't say that I was like, I hung out with everyone, from like the most popular kids to the kids that weren't like popular at all. Like, I was just chill with everyone. And,
It
I
feels
think,
very New York to me.
yeah, that's who we are as, New Yorkers. And I just, like I said, I kind of just treat everyone, and it's the same, like, the same way I was in high school is pretty much the same way I am as a comic and an adult. Like, it's like, you treat you treat the top person or with the boss, with respect. You treat the person who, isn't the boss with respect, because, at the end of the day, like, you never know who's, it's just who you are, and you just never know, like, why.
Literally, yeah. Like the person scrubbing the toilet can literally be like the next president or the next,
Hmm.
yeah, it
Yeah.
rings true.
Why be nasty to someone? Like, I don't get it. Like, then I just don't understand why people can truly be like, have such a bad disposition, because it's just, to me, it's not worth it to be.
Well, I feel like it's come from I've been exploring this topic. And I
Explore
feel like
away.
it comes from like a couple of places. It comes from ego, right? Like the ego could be really like a bitch. Like have you been in contact with like a very egoic person?
Oh, yeah, of
It,
course, of
it's
course.
ugly. It's like what's happening right now?
Hmm.
And then sometimes like if people are in physical pain or emotional pain, I feel like they lash out. So I try to remember that they're either going through some sort of physical pain or emotional chaos that
Hmm.
they just can't be kind, they can't be nice. uh yeah, because
I
I
s-
know that I recently had like a health issue where like my body was hurting and I was like, what the fuck is happening? And I was so in my head about the status of my life that when I would encounter like another person like at the grocery store, I wasn't happy. I was just kind of like, don't even look at me, don't talk to me. And it was just like I was trying to self-preserve. And I realized I'm like, oh, maybe that's why people are so unkind, like they're literally, going through something physically or emotionally.
I've always said this, that like, we're all going through something, whether it's, physically, financially, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, like something. So like you said, you never know what anyone, like you said, you never know what anyone's going through. So you could be, like you said, you could be at the grocery store and you're going through, your issues, and then I may, my issue today may be I may not have enough to buy all the groceries, because I don't have, I don't get paid until a couple of days later. Like we all have something, like,
Right.
so
It's
yeah.
trying to be as nice as possible.
Mm-hmm.
You're so nice, Lawrence.
Thank you. I try. Seriously. Thank you.
Oh man. So I was gonna ask you, I was listening to Kendrick Lamar earlier before we started our conversation. So I have a question for you.
Sure.
What does Kendrick Lamar mean by the one in front of the gun lives forever?
The one in front of the gun lives fast. Oh my God. Uh,
What does he mean?
Hold on for 1 second. See, what does he mean by the uh, s- uh what does he mean by the one in front of the
You
gun?
should text him right now. Ask him.
I no, I'm trying to figure this out because I was trying to cheat and put it in my phone, but maybe it just means the shooter, but that doesn't make sense. But the shooter lives forever.
The one in front of the gun lives forever.
The one in front of the gun lives forever. I know the song, but I just don't know the hmm.
The meaning.
I don't know the meaning of it.
I have been pondering about this. I'm like, what is Kendrick talking about? And I was thinking, does he mean that like if you put yourself out there in front of like the danger, you live forever because people remember the guy or the girl that put themselves out front. They took the bullet, they bit the bullet. What do you think of that theory?
Jeez, Danette. I think this is a little tougher than I wish you went back to how was I in high school? Like that would
All right,
um
I'll let you off the hook if you can't.
no, I'm trying to like the one from now I need to go to Rap Genius and feel like I need to decipher the lyric. What's your I want you to explain this one a little bit to me. A little bit more.
I don't know what it means, but it's such a catchy hook. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, what does he mean in front of the gun? That's dangerous. Like,
Mm-hmm.
no. And then I thought, oh, it's dangerous to put yourself out front like that. In order for you to, so this will lead into this other question about how you've been doing this for 10 years. How how comfortable are you with like all the attention and all the accolades? Because do you feel that's a lot of responsibility? And are you like open to all of it? Because it
Um
because it sometimes it could feel dangerous.
yeah, you know that it's you have to be built a certain way to me to deal with certain pressures and accolades that come with doing this. And there's been times when I've done shows, or I've taped certain things, and afterwards I'm like, oh my God, like the attention is a lot. But you have to realize that's what you get into this for. That's what you want. you not you want, but like you do stand up, and imagine you do comedy and you get off stage and no one says anything to you. No one's like, good set, good. Now you're feeling away inside. You're like, damn, like no one thought I was funny. No one made me like feel like I'm doing the right thing. So I think there are certain things that come with it. There are certain responsibilities, pressures, accolades that come with it. And I think you just got to be down to take it all.
Okay. Have you ever had stalkers?
Nah, you know what's funny? I'll say
What's
this.
funny?
No, I'm gonna say this to you because I'm not gonna say stalkers, but I will say there are people that message you a lot because they feel like you're best friends
Oh
now.
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Like
I get that.
like yeah, like you do a show and then they message, they follow you and then sometimes like like depending on if they had a conversation with you, I may follow you back. Just I don't want to. I'm not looking for any. I'm not looking for anything past a follow, but like people just be they'll send you messages and questions and this and that, and you're like, yo, just like it's a little too much at times.
Do you respond to all of them?
I I don't I can't I don't always respond because I don't want like I don't want to come off as a mean person, but it's like sometimes people will send me message after message after message and I don't block them. I don't do any of that stuff. But sometimes if you don't respond, you hope that they get the message like, all right, I'm being a little too
Friendly.
much. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I think that's but you know what it is to me is I feel like we do something that not many people can do. So now they're like, damn, like I want his energy, I want her energy, I want what they do, I want to be connected to them in some way, shape, or form. And you're just kind of like, I just want to just like chill afterwards. I don't want
Yeah. I just want to make people laugh and then go home.
and then go home. So
Um, we have a couple of more minutes left. Where have you done stand up throughout the states, and which one was your favorite state to perform in?
my favorite state to perform in, Virginia was very fun. I love Boston. Boston, I've had some great shows in Boston.
Really?
Yeah, they have like wonderful crowds. Like the audience is very smart and they're ready to laugh. South Carolina was fun. If I had to pick one, honestly, I would say Boston.
Okay. So if you had to do a special, would it be in New York or would it be in Boston?
I think it would be in New York because
Okay.
I'm a New York kid.
You're native.
Just like yeah, you're a native. Like I'm a native. Like I think New York is that's something really special to do a special in your hometown.
I thought so too, but I recently saw some comics doing shows that were not their hometowns, and I was like, what? And it was because they performed in those states or those cities that made them feel so much love that they
Mm.
went back to those venues. And I was like, oh, I would probably go to DC because when I performed in DC, they showed me so much love. I was like, what?
It, Dave Chappelle shot I think his first Killing Me Softly, I believe, in DC as well. So
Oh, okay.
and like you said, there are certain states and certain cities that are just like the comics, like you said, they want to shoot a special. DC, San Francisco, like there's certain cities that like it's people want to. Me personally, like I said, I would love to shoot my first special in Brooklyn. Like that's
Brooklyn.
Bruh.
What are you so are when are you gonna are you working on that? When can
Yeah, I mean, the
are we gonna have a Lawrence DeLoach 1 hour special in 2021, 2022?
I'm honestly hoping for sometime in 2020, late 2021, 2022, like early, a lot of it, I was working towards stuff in 2019 and aiming for, to do things in 2020. And obviously that didn't happen. But yeah, I mean, it's like, you feel in your heart like, yeah, this is time to do something really special.
Hmm. Yeah, I was getting momentum too in 2020. Like I started to find my voice on like not find it because it's always been there. But I was allowing myself to just say whatever was on my mind and people were really like resonate. Like I was connecting more with the audience and I was like, oh, okay. And then like we shut down. I was like, okay.
Yeah, yeah. But you know what? But it's like you have time to think, and you still write some stuff, even though you don't get to get on stage and do it. But you just have that. As long as you continue that mind state to write and focus, we'll be fine.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think we're coming to the end here. I have one more silly question for you. It's out of nowhere.
Sure.
Um, Drake and Future.
Okay.
They have a song called Life is Good.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard it?
I've heard it.
Yeah. Whose idea do you think that was to collaborate?
Who do I think? I think it was. I think it was Futures.
Yeah? How
I
come?
I feel like the Drake had a solid Drake. What we know, he sings, he makes you feel a little good. Future, like when I heard Future's verse, and I was like, damn, like you could tell like Future wanted it. And I believe, that was the beginning of 2020. Like I was like, oh wow, Future is back. Like I've always been a Future fan. So and then I watched the video. These guys were, flipping burgers, and
That was a good
it
video
was a great video. And I just felt like, damn, that was something Future. I think he wanted a little bit more.
because he shined.
He shined. He really shined in that video and that song. So yeah,
I'm so happy that I asked you that question because I had no idea you were a really big Future fan.
I
What?
love Future. Yeah, I love Future.
Vibing. Well, thank you so much for sitting down with me and doing this. It was
Oh,
fun.
thank you, Danette. I had a wonderful time. Seriously, thank
Yay.
you.
Can you tell people where they can find you?
Sure, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter. It's LZD325.
What's up with LZD2? What is it? L.
325.
Okay.
So what is it? It's L. It's my initials, Lawrence Zamori DeLoach, and then the 325 is my birthday.
Okay. Everybody now knows 325 is. Oh, wait, March 25th?
Yep, March 25th.
That's my brother's birthday.
Get out of here.
Oh, he's an Aries. You're an Aries, right?
Team Aries. Team
Oh, that's
Aries.
nice.
Yes, yes,
Very
yes,
cool. Aw, well, that's awesome. Well,
yes.
thank you guys for tuning in. Please follow Lawrence at Instagram and on Twitter. And are you on Facebook?
I'm on Facebook. Just Lawrence DeLoach.
DeLoach. And please hit like, subscribe, put your comments below. And thank you.
Thank you, Dana. I had a wonderful time. Thank you.
Thank you.